Feeling like you have a million amazing ideas, but you can't seem to turn them into a reality? You're not alone. Creative entrepreneurs everywhere struggle with turning their vision into an actionable plan. That's why I'm inviting you to Your Best Year Yet, a free masterclass that transforms scattered ideas into a simple strategic roadmap for 2025. You'll discover the number one reason your big ideas haven't materialized yet, and more importantly, exactly how to change that. No more overwhelm, no more burnout, just a clear path to building a business that supports your dream life. Join me and learn how to create a business plan that you'll actually use, one that turns your abundant ideas into achievable goals. Of course, we have a link in the show notes, but you can also head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/best year masterclass to save your spot. Your best year isn't just ahead of you, it's waiting for you to claim it. Let's do this. If you want to have a wealthy life, all the areas of your life, including your spaces, need to be clutter-free, because if there's clutter in them, then guess what? You're going to get a cluttered experience. And in a cluttered mind, cluttered energy gets you cluttered results.
Welcome to Thrive by Design, the podcast for ambitious, independent jewelry brands looking to profit from their products. Get ready to make more and sell more doing what you love without spending every single waking minute doing it. Hey, and if you're a creative, fashion, or product-based business, I want to welcome you to the show. I'll be dropping big tips on launching, growing, and scaling your business so you can spend more of your precious time using your creativity to make money. You ready? All right, let's do this.
Welcome to the Thrive by Design podcast. Hey there, it's Tracy Matthews here doing a solo episode. It's been a while. Now, honestly, I just threw this one in because it's not a throw-in. Actually, it's something that I've been working on a lot. I have been super into getting into alignment and getting my energy and vibration and all those things high so that I am vibrating at a higher level. And as Kathy Heller says, tuning into a high vibe radio frequency that energetically makes you feel abundant and alive and in sync with what it is that you're trying to create. And this year, I've always done a lot of mindset work and a lot of personal development and all the things. And I've done a ton of manifestation work this year. And one of the things that I have really been enamored by is just listening to the different methodologies of how energy affects your mood, affects your success, affects where you're going, it affects your excitement level. And when I was teaching yoga back in the day, I used to read different quotes. And one of my favorite ones, and if you've been around the Flourish and Thrive community for a while, you've probably heard this, is fear is just excitement without the breath. In fact, I said it on my live with Kathy Heller the other day. I think I said anxiety is just excitement without the breath, but it's really fear is just excitement without the breath. And that is a quote by Fritz Perls. And the reason why I like that so much is that at any given time, using breath and using the power, that we have within us, we can shift our energy, we can shift our situation at any given time. And recently in September, I was at an event and a woman named Erin King came to speak. And her whole talk was about how energy influences our ability to make sales, our ability to thrive and grow in business, our ability to get into alignment, our ability to show up. And the reason is that they did a study. I don't have the whole background around it, but she did a study with some researchers to try to figure out who the most successful entrepreneurs were and what made them so magnetic. And the thing that they came to was their energy and how they were showing up. So it only makes sense that if you are energetically drained in the things that you're doing in your life or relationships or whatever it is are draining you, and you're allowing yourself to get into this lower vibration, well, guess what? You're not going to feel very good, and it's going to be really hard for you to move forward. This is why when we talk about victim mentality, I was just watching a mindset training by Michael Beckwith, who is a master mindset teacher and a spiritual leader. I think he started Agape. Anyway, he was talking about the 4 types of consciousness, and the lowest vibration is victim consciousness. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because at certain times in our lives, we deflect our power to other people. And we allow that deflection, for whatever reason, to put us into this victim mode. And I'm not removing myself from this because I've definitely been in victim mode this year for sure at different times. But the most powerful thing that we can do is just acknowledge when that's happening. Because when we are in a low vibration, when we're blaming others for our problems, when we're not stepping into our power, even if you think something's not your fault, when we're not stepping in to our power and owning our results and owning our outcomes and owning our situations and getting our energy in a higher vibration, then we are the only person who suffers. No one else is really suffering, just yourself. And so I wanted to talk about this because we're in this journey of joining a new year, and it is a great time to release. And as I'm recording this, we're in the middle of Mercury retrograde, and I think it will still be released in Mercury retrograde. And Mercury retrograde is a great time for reflection. It is a great time to release whatever it is that is not working for you. And this is a great time for evaluation. So it's a perfect time to evaluate your business. And if you haven't signed up for my free masterclass that I'm doing tomorrow live, it will be available on a later date, but tomorrow I'm running it live for a few sessions. You can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/best year to sign up for your best year yet. It's a brand new masterclass that I'm doing to help you raise your vibration and get into the mode that you're trying to create for 2025. Plus, I'm going to be giving you some planning tools so that you can truly execute your dream business in 2025. But one of the first steps of this is to evaluate, because if you aren't clear on what's not working for you and you aren't taking full ownership of what those things are, then that's on you. And I want to share an example of this from my personal life. So I've been going through a massive reinvention. In fact, I'm launching a new program in the new year, in addition to my planning program that I'm going to be releasing called Your Year to Thrive. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow at the end of the masterclass. It's an amazing business planning program that is designed for creative minds, just like yours. And I'm going to be launching a new program called The Art of Reinvention, because something that I love is supporting women and business owners who are in the middle of a reinvention or a pivot or an upgrade or a transformation. So I'm developing a new business program. It's part spirituality, part breath work, part healing, and part rebranding to step into your next highest version of yourself. And what that looks like to be a phoenix rising, walking through the fire, and all the things. So if you're interested in learning more about that, just shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'll also have a link to a wait list in the show notes so that you can get on the wait list if that sounds interesting for you. But my whole point here is that when you are out of alignment, you have crappy energy a lot of times. And when you're out of alignment, if you keep doing the thing that is keeping you out of alignment, well, guess what? You're going to get more of that misaligned energy. And that typically takes you off course. And I interviewed Kathy Heller for the podcast last week. And I also did an Instagram live with her, which was really amazing. And in both of those interviews, we talked a lot about energetic alignment. And one of the things that she said is, when airline pilots are flying a plane, they don't really need to do much. Once the plane's in the air, they need to be there for the takeoff and landing. That's the most important part. But once they're in the air, the airplane takes over. They're just on a trajectory moving forward. But what the pilot is needed for in those moments is the drift, meaning if there's a weather condition or a wind condition that's moving them off course, they need to steer the airplane back on course. And that's basically the same thing. That's what it's like to get your energy back into alignment. It is all about just shifting gears, shifting course. And at any given time, we can create that shift. But it all starts with understanding and evaluating what needs to go, what is no longer serving you. So I want to talk a little bit more about that and talk about some questions that you can ask yourself to get back into alignment, or to really evaluate what's creating misalignment or draining your energy. So let's start with some of the basics. In your business, What are the parts of your business that drain you? Make a list of all those things. What are the things that suck your energy, that you don't like doing, that are a grind, that you blow off, that you procrastinate, whatever that might be? What are the things that drain you? And if it's more than just part of your business, like let's say it's the entire business, well, that's something that you might need to look at. Maybe it's time to shift something. Now, one thing that I know, I've built several businesses in my career, and at different times, I have shifted the business model because my desires have shifted and changed. And the reason why I'm sharing this is that sometimes we start people pleasing. We get into this people pleasing mode where we're doing everything for other people and we're not in alignment with what we really want. And for instance, there was a time when I was just working, building my business. I've done this more than once, when I was kind of out of alignment with the business. And I just kept working to make payroll, to pay other people's paychecks, instead of really aligning with what mattered to me in my business. Now, obviously on the outside, that can seem like a misalignment, but if you're in some sort of trauma response, or you're just like going, and you're not really thinking through, is this the thing that is going to actually get me to the other side or help me reach my goal? And it's not, then that's something to take a look at. Are there certain habits that you have that are draining your energy? This is another question to ask, because maybe it's a routine that's not working for you anymore. Maybe it's a lack of doing something. For instance, like if you're slacking on exercise or working out, or you're not eating healthy. These are all things that can drain your energy and make you feel like shit. I'm going to give an example of this. I'm so embarrassed to admit this, but because I've been so busy and in the process of launching this new program, and also still fulfilling my duties over at Flourish and Thrive Academy, things have been piling up. I have to say, I barely check my email. And the other thing that's crazy is that my desk at home no one can use it right now. It is full of boxes. It's full of mail. It's full of a lot of different things. And I'm almost embarrassed to say that, but that is something that is draining my energy. It's also draining the energy of my family and partner. And it's on my list to get done this weekend. And Jason and I have been discussing this. In the new year, our biggest thing in our house is to make sure that we have a place for everything. Jason has a beautiful home, but it was built without a lot of storage. So we're having to create storage. And he's like, awesome. He's like built some closet. He loves working with his hands. So he's built some closet built-ins and stuff like that. But our goal is to have a place for everything and get rid of all the extra clutter. So I've been on this like mad spree of like donating, selling stuff, taking all my clothes that I don't wear anymore to a consignment, like anything to do to release that energy. And my friend Patrice Washington talks about this. She has a format or framework called the 6 Pillars of Wealth. And she shares a story a lot online and on stage where she talks about how if you want to have a wealthy life, all the areas of your life, including your spaces, need to be clutter-free. Because if there's clutter in them, then guess what? You're going to get a cluttered experience. And in a cluttered mind, cluttered energy gets you cluttered results. And so she shared this story about how her house was immaculate, but then she had this room where she would close the door and like all the Amazon boxes were in there and it was just a mess. And she laughs about it, but she's like, it wasn't until I cleaned up that room and started getting my life and everything into alignment with this cleaner energy vibe that I was able to really get to my next level in business. And so, we all can step back at a certain point, but just get clear, like, where is there clutter in your life and where are you not energetically aligned with your spaces or your habits or the tasks that you're doing, or even your belief systems that no longer serve you. Because our programming is something that can direct us in the wrong direction even these days. So all the limiting beliefs and things that we've picked up from childhood are potentially things that could be holding us back from reaching our true and full potential. And so releasing that energy and leaving what isn't working from your belief standpoint is also a really important thing to heal and let go of. Because if those limiting beliefs in your subconscious are holding you back, well, it's going to be hard to move forward. I also wanted to talk about this other thing. We all get to a point where we're completely done with something. We are just freaking done. I posted this in one of my group chats or one of my channels the other day, and someone's like, I'm done with putting my website up. And that's not what I meant. When I say you're done with something, what I mean is like, you are no longer willing to tolerate this X, Y, and Z thing anymore in this way. When you're done with something, you know it's time to move on. So it's time to energetically cut the cord and let it go. So if there's energy leaks or anything that's not working for you, make sure that you are crystal clear on that and make a long running list of all the things that are no longer working for you. And then I'm primarily talking about energy because the energy piece is more important necessarily than the numbers and all these other things. But the thing that I do want to remind you of is it's really important to evaluate your entire business model as a whole. Like, what is working for you? What do you enjoy inside the business? Where are you when you show up? It's really easy to make money. And then there's those places where it's just been really challenging and it's not fun for you. So acknowledge what those things are. I know a lot of people, they start to get really burnt out on doing in-person shows. The grind and the travel and all the things become challenging. And then there's other people who they just love the in-person shows and it totally energizes them. So do that internal check with your business and evaluate all aspects of your business. Now, on the flip side of this, in this evaluation of like, what do you want to let go? It's time to also take a look at what energizes you. What are the activities? What are the relationships? What are the practices that fill you with joy and purpose and excitement? What are the things that you love to do? What lights you up? What gets you excited to wake out of bed? What if like time and money and space were no object? Would you bounce out of bed and get excited to work on? Because if those things are completely lighting you up and making you super excited, then guess what? You're in a good spot. The most important thing is that if you are energetically aligned and in a good spot and your energy feels good and you're showing up and you're focusing on the positive aspects, everything's going to shift. If you're not in that spot, take a check-in and evaluate what's really going on. I know a lot of times we want to blame circumstances or other people or whatever for a situation. And that's only normal. It happens. We have something that doesn't meet our expectation. We have things that are promised to us that maybe don't happen in the way that we were expecting. People make mistakes and we're disappointed on that. Sometimes we encounter something, an event doesn't work out the way that we want, relationship doesn't work out in the way that we want, and we're disappointed. And you have every right to be disappointed. But, I take this one way. I worked with this coach way back in the day, or I went to his retreat or something. This is a long time ago when life coaching was like a new thing. I must have been in my early 30s. This guy, Dave Ellis, their philosophy, him and his coaching staff, they always said, the only thing that you can control is how you show up in a situation, meaning you can't control the other person. So if you shift and you are the person that actually changes, perhaps they will change their energy in reaction to you. So let's say, and this is hypothetical here, you have a relationship with someone, maybe it's a family member or something, who triggers the F out of you. And every time you find your blood boiling and you are so triggered with everything that's happening and you're angry and all the things, and you can't help but to automatically go into your old patterns, right? Doesn't happen with anyone else except for this one person, right? Well, if you showed up in that situation and you detached yourself from the situation, maybe did a little cord cutting or whatever, and you showed up differently and weren't reactive when they reacted, guess what? You've taken the power out of that situation for the thing to blow up. And so I want to remind you of that. Like, we are all disappointed at times. Things don't work out our way. We're in crunchy situations. Things are difficult sometimes. Sometimes it's even hard because we're financially struggling, whatever it is. Sometimes things are hard even when you're not financially struggling, like whatever it is. The thing that I want to remind you of is that the only thing you have control over is you. Nothing else. And so if you're harboring resentment, if you're angry, if you're disappointed, if you're pissed off at someone, if you have negative energy and you're complaining all the time and everyone everything is everyone else's fault. Nothing, you don't take responsibility for anything. And I'm not saying that any of you are doing that, because I'm sure that you are highly evolved human beings, but notice when you do that, when you drop into that victim mode here and there, because that's on you. Your anger at someone else, your resentment at someone else, your disappointment or disapproval at someone else is not hurting the other person. It's only hurting you. And so it's the same with energy too. And so I want to come back to what Kathy said in her book, Abundant Ever After. It's about tuning your radio dial to the frequency that you want to be aligned with. Tuning your radio dial to the frequency that you want to be aligned with. And that high vibe frequency is the thing that is going to raise you up, raise that vibration. That's why there's all these binaural beats where you can listen to abundance tones and stuff like that to get you in that state. That's why people are so obsessed with sound healing, because it is really powerful when you let it be. And so remember that you have control over this. If there are things that are draining your energy and you are ready for a reset in 2025, it is your time to get back into alignment with your life, with your business, and with your energy. Now, there's one more thing that I want to talk to you here is about setting boundaries, getting back into realignment, and decluttering. I talked a little bit earlier about decluttering your space, but saying no is one of the biggest gifts that you can do. Doing more is not serving you. People pleasing is not serving you. It's actually hurting everyone. Later this week, I'm going to be releasing a podcast that I just did about high functioning codependency with my friend Terry Cole. And Terry talks a lot about how people pleasing is actually not helping the other person that you think that you're, compromising for. It's actually doing more harm and good if you're in a codependent relationship. And the other thing is too, you can be in a codependent relationship with your business. I found that to be true for myself this year. And I say that because one of the signs is like, if you are compromising what is best for you because you want to make other people happy, well, guess what? It is time to say no or set a boundary for yourself or make a tough decision. It's not easy. Growing a business is not easy. And I also wanted to give just a couple of tips for you to get your vibration back into alignment. Now, if you are feeling anxiety, you're feeling the energy, you're feeling the pressure, and it's not working for you, obviously getting a coach or an energetic healer or someone who is going to help you with your energy is always a great choice. But in the moment, if something's not working for you, here are a couple of tips that you can practice on your own. Number one, breathe. Breathing is one of the most valuable things that you can do to release anxiety, to release stress, and to open up your energy and your heart to change your frequency vibe. Number two, get into a regular meditation practice and open up your chakra channels. They call it Sushumna Nadi in yoga, but if you open up that channel and you're breathing through the crown of the head all the way through your root, inhaling up and exhaling down, and meditating and asking for guidance from source. It's a great way to shift your energy. Number three, identify what is making you feel energy sucked or low or whatever you want to call it. Like, is there something? Ask yourself, why is my energy low? What is happening in this situation that is causing me to feel blank? Ask yourself questions. Do a check-in. Figure out what that is for yourself. And then move your body. Go for a walk, exercise every day, do some yoga, whatever it is, move your body. You can even, so when I first started practicing the law of attraction or abundance, all this stuff and getting into the right vibration, one of the things that the teachers always said was, what could you do to shift your energy? Well, the first is like jumping up and down, shaking your body, dancing, putting on high vibe music, anything that moves the energy out of your body. And I talked about breathing, but another powerful, more intense practice is breath work. And this is doing a full on breath work session where you're doing intense, heavy breathing, sometimes for 40 minutes, that literally vibrates all the cells in your body. Super intense, great way to release, great way to shift your energy and your perspective and all the things. And sometimes I had one last night. Sometimes when you're doing breath work without any substance, you can be having a psychedelic experience. It's pretty cool. I was seeing visuals. A couple weeks ago, I saw Chewbacca came to visit me in my dream. And it's funny because I ended up going to Disneyland while I was in California a couple weeks ago. And I saw Chewbacca, and I just remembered last night. I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe there's a correlation there. Anyway, long story short, doing anything to move your body, shift your energy. And then finally, sound healing. This is a great way for you to raise your vibration and get your energy up. Go to a sound healing session, play a sound healing sound bath on Spotify or something like that. Relax, stay calm. And then my final tip is to visualize what you want and get into a feeling state of what that feels like. Get into a feeling state of what that feels like. Put on inspiring music, drop into a visualization, get into that feeling state, and believe it to be so. Well, I hope this episode was helpful for you. Once again, I'm hosting a free masterclass called Your Best Year Yet, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit more information on that class about my 6-step Evolve planning system for creative business owners. And it is part energetics, part business planning, part visioning, part having the best year yet. And the cool part about this is at the end of the class, I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about my new program, Your Year to Thrive. So I hope you'll show up. I'm looking forward to meeting you, and have an awesome rest of your year. Ciao for now. If you're loving these strategies for business growth, I want to invite you to something special. Your Year to Thrive is your complete blueprint for turning inspiration into real-world transformation in 2025. This isn't just another business planning program. We start with your vision of an ideal life and build your success around what truly matters to you. No more scattered ideas or overwhelming to-do lists. Inside, you'll discover the proven Evolve Blueprint, my step-by-step system to turning your biggest dreams into inevitable success. From a clear vision to confident execution, you'll finally have the roadmap you've been looking for. Your Year to Thrive is open for enrollment right now. Join us and make 2025 the year everything changes. Head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/thrive to learn more and secure your spot. Let's truly make this your year to thrive. We got you.